What's up everybody, Bandit here. So we did recently just take this 1991 Land Cruiser that is our new project vehicle off-road, and it did pretty good. We do have a full video on this if you haven't seen it already, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about the off-road experience here in the Land Cruiser, but first we need to get it cleaned up. So it's certainly not clean, but it's better than it was. There you can see me. And we'll get back on the road. So let's talk a little bit about what we learned on our trip last weekend. So we did go up Flagpole Knob, Reddish Knob, that area outside of Harrisonburg, Virginia. We have gone up there quite a few times in our Tacomas and other vehicles, but we really had a great time. We had a lot of our closest friends up there and had a really great time. Now, what did we learn? Well, I think the first and most obvious thing is you don't need a super high-tech or expensive vehicle to go four-wheeling. This was a 1991 Land Cruiser that we picked up for $2,200, and you know, currently with all the extra stuff, you know, new radiator, new tires, everything else, we are looking at closer to $3,000, but we had a great time and we were able to hang with really all of the other rigs for a really low price. The second thing we learned is how useful lockers are and four-wheel drive is. So if you did watch the video, one of our friends actually broke a drive shaft right before we got up there, and we were not able to get him through the trails with four-wheel drive. So he needed to be winched up a couple times and everything else, and certainly could have used either a locker or four-wheel drive because he was only having one of his rear wheels spinning because he was in two-wheel drive and did not have any kind of limited slip or anything like that. So a locking differential and or four-wheel drive is certainly really helpful. Now these 1991 Land Cruisers, the FJ80s, do have full-time four-wheel drive, which essentially is an all-wheel drive type system, and you do have a center diff lock button if you want to lock it in for four-wheel drive exclusively, and then obviously you have a four-wheel drive low range as well, but we really didn't need to touch that low range a whole lot. The four-wheel drive high was great, and then we put the transmission here into the low gear, and that really helped us up a lot of different obstacles. Now, like we've mentioned before, Flagpole is not a super technical or difficult trail. Now, there are a couple things where you definitely, you know, do need some four-wheel drive experience, some ground clearance, and, you know, certainly some four-wheel drive type capabilities to be able to traverse those obstacles and terrain. But ultimately, it's not a super difficult trail. Now, like I said, we have had our Tacomas up there, and this was our first time in the Land Cruiser going up there, and it was really gratifying to know that this vehicle can still hang with the best of them. You know, we had 4Runners up there with lifts and lockers and 35-inch tires and everything else, and we were able to hang with them at least on this trail. Now, when you're in a new vehicle like our Tacomas or, you know, a new Jeep Wrangler or something like that, off-roading is made super easy. You know, you're riding around in comfort. You just have to flick a switch and you go into four-wheel drive, or, you know, lock in one of those e-lockers or whatever else. But all of the four-wheeling is done with you and the machine. You know, with all of your traction control, the new Tacomas have crawl control or A-track or, you know, whatever else, but the vehicle is very advanced and it does make off-roading very, very easy. Now with this, we don't have any of that. We don't have any kind of stability control or traction control or anything else here in the Land Cruiser, so you know that anything that you do, any obstacle that you can get up, you did yourself. And like I said, it is really gratifying to know that it's just you and the machine. There's no electronic nannies that you need to turn on or turn off to help you up an obstacle. It's just you, the suspension of the vehicle, and the tires that you have contacting the dirt. So ultimately, we had a really great time with the Land Cruiser off-road. You know, we were able to take the interstate to get to the trail. We ran the trail and were able to get back home without any major catastrophes or breaking anything. So we look at this as a success, and we know some areas that we need to improve upon to make this thing even more off-road capable. You know, maybe having some quick disconnects for the sway bars to allow more articulation. Definitely doing something about these mud flaps that seem to drag on a lot of rocks and everything else. But ultimately, it was a great idea to run a fairly simple trail first to get an idea of where the strengths and weaknesses are of this thing. You know, Toyota did a great job designing this vehicle way back in the day. Really, I'm not sure what it's considered, whether you want to consider it an SUV or a four-wheel drive wagon or whatever else. I mean, obviously the closest thing that the Land Cruiser series competes with was the Jeep Wagoneer way back in the day, but, you know, a solid front and rear axles, 3-row SUV, with a good four-wheel drive system and good ground clearance, there really aren't a whole lot of vehicles that are made like that anymore. So huge thanks to Toyota for designing this vehicle way back in the day, and we absolutely love it, having it in our collection now. So again, we're really looking forward to this build series, and we hope you all are too. The more we take it off-road and the more we drive it, the more excited we get about it. But please leave all your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll catch you next time.